Shalom. First and foremost, as always, giving all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rachak, Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to hopeful elect. Spirit jumped on me because I want to do my due diligence as well on that article that brother sent in the chat about the subdermal object. I think it was sometime last week, if I'm not mistaken. Someone from the IUIC, I believe his name is Captain Joel, made a Revelation 13 chapter going into it, and he didn't do a good job of breaking it down properly. He broke it down incorrect. So want to use this article and go into words like you're supposed to bring out the proper edification on what Revelation, the 13th chapter and the 16th verse is talking about. But I want to start off with this precept first. This is Amos 3 and 7. Surely the Lord God will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants the prophets. So the reason why certain individuals can understand Revelations, the 13th chapter and the 16th verse, also going into the Gentiles, is because the Most High reveals his secrets, which the 13th chapter of Revelation, 16th verse, is a secret to some that some people don't know what it is. Some just like also with the Gentile thing, some people also don't know who actually are the Gentiles. Some people believe that it's talking about everybody, that everybody could come back. There's no difference between Jew or Greek. But we understand those Gentiles are actually Israelites that fell away from their heritage when the Holy Spirit is working with you. So this breakdown, which is a very important breakdown that deals with your salvation, is not revealed unto everybody. So that's why some understand it, and that's why some don't understand it. So let's go into the article. But before I do it, let me get Revelation 13 set up. There we go. Yeah, I'll hold that off for later. So as you can see, this is the title. This is the article that the brother sent in the chat. Came about 19 hours ago. It's the subdermal implant that will let you pay with your hand. And hopefully I choose better words this time, because YouTube put me on block for a week. I can't afford to be on block for a week, so hopefully I choose my words correctly here. Hopefully the Lord has mercy on me as well. But getting into this, it says, as you can see in the picture, a woman paying with her meal in a cafe using contactless payment subdermal object in her hand. And as you can see, just like it says in Revelation 13 and 16, you see her using her right hand to pay in the cafe. Now it says, this is the man's name, it says Patrick Paulman causes a stir whenever he pays for something in a shop or restaurant. This is because the 37-year-old doesn't need to use a bank card or his mobile phone to pay. Instead, he simply places his left hand near the contactless card reader and the payment goes through. Now, obviously, and I'll also bring that a little bit later, that when you read in Revelation 14, it says those that receive in the hand, those that receive it in their hand. It doesn't say a particular hand, because the 13th chapter mentions the right hand, but in the 14th chapter, it just says hand. So it doesn't matter. So long as you get it, it doesn't matter. It could be in the right hand, the left hand. Obviously, it also talks about the forehead. So if sometimes brothers joke about if you get into your left butt cheek, it doesn't matter. You got it, you got it. So continuing on, the reactions I get from cashiers are priceless, says Paulman, a security guard from the Netherlands. He is able to pay using his hand because back in 2019, he had a contactless payment subdermal object injected under his skin. The procedure hurts as much as when someone pinches your skin. You see, they're making it seem to be this little thing. But I remember my coach used to tell me all the time when I played football, it's the little things that matter. You see, people focus on the big things, thinking that this has to be the cause of my downfall. This is what's gonna make me fail in something. No, It's those little things that you don't pay attention to. It's those little things that you just let up. Like what is, Paul speaks about, a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump. Not a big piece of leaven, but a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump. It's those little things. And that's what people are going to say in their minds. You mean to tell me this little thing is what's going to cause me to burn? Yeah, that little thing. It's the little things that my coach used to tell me when I'm playing football. It's the little things that you don't pay attention to. The little things that you don't see that matter the most. Because eventually those little things become big problems. Just like a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump. Continuing says, the first, what it says in the picture, as you can see right there, says, Mr. Palman has a subdermal object under his skin on the left hand, and it lights up when it comes into close contact with a payment machine. So this is how the thing is able to read and then what? Transfer the money or take the money through the transfer or whatever. Just like how you would use it with your credit card or with your phone. The same thing that John saw in Revelation 13 and 16. That what? No man would, let's just read it real quick. I don't want to butcher it. Revelation 13 and 16. And he calls it all, who's the he? The elites, the Edomites, the top elites of the Esau Edom, the top banking families. That's who's going to cause all, which cause it means what? The Greek word is poieo. Let's go into these words. Right? He cause it. That's what it means by cause it. It's the Greek word poieo, which means what? To make ready, to prepare. So they're preparing you by putting things in society to prepare you to take this thing, this subdermal object that they want to put in your body to control you. Another couple of definitions here is what? To make one do something. But how do you make someone do something that you want them to do? You got to nudge them in the right direction, push them, start subliminally telling them things, do things that will make them do what you want them to do. Right? Also, one definition here. Can I do that? No, I can't. Oh, I can't highlight it. Just want to highlight so you can see these words. What I'm saying. This definition: to carry out, to execute. So they have a plan. They have something that they want to execute. But in order to execute that, like I mentioned before, what they have to. Let me see if I can highlight this. Yep. To make one to do something. So poeo, cause, fashion, to make you do something, to push you, nudge you in the right direction of what we want you to do. Right. So it says a subdermal object was first implanted into a human back in 1998, but it's only during the past decade that the technology has been available commercially. And when it comes to uh, subdermal payment, British Polish firm Walletmore says that last year it became the first company to offer them for sale. So you're seeing the poeo. And matter of fact, I also want to get this word because now this goes into this, right? So in order, we've established with Pueo what? They have a plan that they want to execute, right? They have something that they want people to do. Ah, come on, where'd it go? Slovakia. They have a plan, right? They want to construct, fashion the world, nudge the world in the right direction to what they want to do, right? Now, this man, Captain Joel, was talking about how this has to deal with nations, small nations, big nations, something like that. No, like it says, matter of fact, let's get it as well. See, what Revelation 13 and 16 is talking about is going to affect the whole world. This is not small nations or big nations. This is going to affect the whole world. I'm going to let the scripture speak for itself. This is Revelation 3 and 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation. What is the hour of temptation? The hour of temptation is dealing with what John saw in Revelation 13 and 16, that people are going to get, that people are going to be tempted to take it or tempted not to take it. Or I should say be tempted, sorry, I should properly say, excuse me, Salakia, that people are going to be tempted to take this thing that they should not take. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Second Ezra is the 16th chapter, and like around the 70th verse or 69th verse, or maybe 68th, talks about that, goes into that a bit. I will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell therein. And when you go into that word world, because there's three definitions for the word world. One that you see in John 3 and 16 is cosmos, which is a separate society. Then, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's aeon or eon, which goes into a period of time or an age. Like you have what, the Greek age, the Roman age, right? And then the third word for world is oikomene, which means the whole inhabited earth. Just like you had with this demic that was affecting everybody. What? This affected everybody. And what? You saw everybody, they forced everybody, they constructed, they fashioned, they nudged people in the direction to take this thing that they want people to take, which dealing with the icky vicky, the Vanessa. Lord's willing, you understand what I mean by that. The thing that affected the whole earth, the demic. That's still going on, but it seems like it took a break, seeing as how there's this thing with Russia and Ukraine. I guess this thing just said, Russia and Ukraine's going on right now. I'll just leave y'all alone. But that's how Poeo fashioned, nudging you in the right direction to what they wanted you to do. And you saw that with the demic. So it's going to be the same thing, but on a heavier scale with Revelation 13 and 16, what John saw people taking. So that's what's going to affect the whole world. But in order for them to do that, it's not going to be just everybody just like that. Because what, like I said earlier, what, a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump. So what, you got to start off small. And the brother Aharon, one time in our studies, brought this word out through the Spirit. When you go into the word all, which is pas, it says, you see two words right there. Let me just highlight it. Individually, which means what? They want to start off with certain individuals, like you see this security guard, this Parman, I think his name is, that I was reading. What? He's one individual. So we have a couple of individuals that start off taking this thing. But then what? They want to move because what? We know oikomene, they want to get the whole world to do this. So they start off individually, and then they want to move what? Collectively. So it starts off individually with certain individuals taking this thing, but their plan is to get collectively the whole inhabited world, oikomene. So hopefully you're following me and hopefully you're understanding this. And that's what you're seeing when these articles come out. You're seeing individuals talking about they took this thing and it's nice and cool and all that, like the individuals in Sweden. You could say that over there is those individuals took that over there. But what the least one is collectively to get the whole planet to do what those individuals in Sweden did, to be collectively the whole world. I pray through the Spirit that you're following. So let's go back to the article. And this is why going into the words in the Greek help to explain what John the Revelator was seeing. So that's way, in all honesty, you don't sound foolish saying that there's no subdermal objects. It's June. There ain't no subdermal objects. I can't say it because I don't want to strike on my video. I don't want to strike on my channel because YouTube was on some BS. I now know what brothers go to when they talk about, I can't, upload for a while. I felt horrible. But continuing, let me just get back to where I was. So it says, and when it comes to implantable subdermal payment, British Polish firm Walletmore says that last year it became the first company to offer them for sale. The subdermal object can be used to pay for a drink on the beach in Rio, a coffee in New York, a haircut in Paris, or at your local grocery store, says founder and chief executive. I'm going to try to say this name. Wojtek Paprota. Hopefully I said that correctly. It can be used wherever contactless payments are accepted. So many ads. My God. It says Walletmore's subdermal object weighs less than a gram and is a little bigger than a grain of rice. It is comprised of a tiny MC and an antenna encased in a biopolymer, a natural sourced material similar to plastic, which is the same thing that when you see brothers, the prophets on the street, they have that picture of. That's what you're seeing. And that's what John the Revelator saw people getting in their right hand or in their forehead or anywhere in the body. Now, I want to go back to the scriptures just to keep, So now what? It said it allowed him to pay. Now, going back, we understand who the he is, which is the elites. We understand what cause it mean, basically like nudging you in the direction that they want you to go. Hey, we want you to do something. So we have to cause things to happen for you to do what we want you to do. And then what? We have the understanding of the word world. We have the understanding of the word all, which is what? Individually, it starts off with certain individuals getting this, but collectively they want the whole earth to get this. And now we understand, obviously, small and great, which is what? Your regular individuals and your higher ups, rich and poor. You got your, the higher class of society today, which would be like your famous people. Like I'll just use Will Smith for example, since everybody's talking about that situation. Your Will Smiths, your T.D. Jakes, your Oprah Winfrey's, your Dr. Phil's, them people. And you're poor, which is the regular, average, everyday individual, which throughout these, well, actually, when the demic was heavy, when they was really focusing on that, they took out the middle class, so now you just have the rich and poor. So that's obviously showing the fulfillment of this scripture, because the middle class is out, free in bonds. So those of you who walk freely in the streets, who think you're free but you're not, and those who are in jail, to receive a, which when you go into that word there, MARK, excuse me, a charagma, which charagma goes into an etching, cutting. Basically, you're cutting into the flesh. But in order to cut into the flesh, you need a object to do that. And when you go to the root word of charagma, it's charax, which would be what? The pale stake or palisade, or the sharp instrument that is used to cut into the flesh, which would be the modern day charax today would be a needle. And then once that needle cuts into the flesh, you don't just cut into the flesh with a needle. What? You have to put something there. And this is actually in the law as well, and I'm going to show you that. This goes into, if I'm not mistaken, Exodus the 21st chapter, going into with the awl, with the servant, when you bore the ear through with an awl. But right, the pale stake or palisade, which would be the needle or the syringe. And then what? You have the word grapho, which is what? To write with reference to the form of letters, to delineate or form letters on tablet, parchment, paper, or other material, to write with reference to the context of the writing, to commit to writing things not to be forgotten, write down, record. So as you can see with this man, what? He has on record that little small object in his hand has his records in it. Things that are not to be forgotten, which is what? His bank information, his medical records, probably his driver's license. These are things that, hey, you need these things to function in society. You can't forget these things. So all that, that little object in his hand has all his information in there. So again, proving to you that Revelation 13 to 16 is an actual physical thing that they're going to put into your body. And the brothers and I brought this out, I want to say about a couple of months ago. We brought out a couple of articles going to how they liken it unto like, well, I'm not going to say all that because Lord's willing, if the Spirit's on me, I'll do a separate video on that. But just to show you that it's actually a physical thing of cutting into the flesh and putting something there and leaving it there. It's not something spiritual with something you think about, or it's not sleeping with white women. This is an actual thing that they're going to put within you. And you're seeing that with what? With John and the understanding of words that what? With the word there, M-A-R-K, which is what? Charagma, which goes into the cutting of your flesh, karax, which is the instrument that's going to be used to cut into your flesh, and then grapho, which is going to have your records, things that should not be forgotten, which is your information that you need to function in society, your driver's license, your medical records, your whatever, your credit card information, so you can pay for things. This is how you're going to be able to function in society. I'm not going to try and say that name again. That was too difficult. Mr. Whoever his name is adds that is entirely safe, has regulatory approval, works immediately after being implanted. Of course, they're going to sit there and say things to make you think that it's safe and it's the. But you have to understand, it's not safe. You can't listen to these people. These people, this is the world. Remember, we were called out of the world. We were called to be separate from the world. We can't go back and taking that is being a part of this system and being a part of the world. And we know that the Lord Yahushua is coming back to destroy this world, to bring down, to destroy the society. So if you take that thing, you're also going to be a part of the system. You're saying, I am for this system. Now, I wasn't going to do it, but seeing as how the Spirit shifted me to do it, let's just get into it now. Why does it keep doing that, man? Anytime you want to do a video, the phone got to act stupid. Now, this is when you have this is Exodus 21. These couple of verses go into when you're dealing with the servant. Now, I'll just read from 5. It says, Exodus 21 and 5, right? And if the servant shall plainly say, right? Because if you're working for somebody and you have wife and kids with that man, I mean, when you have wife and kids serving that man, but you don't want to leave him, you don't want to leave serving him because you love your wife and kids, as it's going to say that, if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, right? My wife and my children, I will not go out free, meaning that you're going to continue to serve him. Then his master shall bring him unto the judges. He shall also bring him to the door unto the doorpost, and his master shall bore his ear through with an awl. All right, now let's see if we can get that. What an awl? Just seen it. Oh, it's AWL Salakia. But that's the awl, and that would what? Bore his ear through with an awl, and obviously you would. Now, obviously, you're not just gonna bore an ear through the man's ear and then that's it. Obviously, you'd have to put some type of tag or something in his ear with maybe some Hebrew inscriptions of your name showing that this man belongs to me and he's my servant forever. You're not just gonna put a hole through a man's ear and then, oh well, okay, you're mine forever. No, obviously, because they do that with cattle, they'll bore their ears and what? They'll put that like that little yellowish tag in their ear with like a serial number or something on it. So I'm gonna guess that would be something that they did back in the ancient world, that they didn't just bore your ear through with the awl and then that was it, but they probably put something in your ear with maybe a Hebrew inscription, like probably the master's name on the like leather thing or whatever that would be hanging off your ear, and it would show that this is my servant, I own him forever. And that's essentially what you're saying when you take this thing that John is seeing in Revelation 13 and 16. You're basically saying, I love the elites. I love this system. I love everything about it. I love my life here. And I'm going to take this thing and make a pledge, make a covenant with this man. And I'm going to serve him and be his forever when you belong to the Most High. And I'm talking to the Israelites. This is not for everybody. This is only for the Israelites. You other heathen nations, it don't matter if you take it or not. You're still going into slavery. So going back to the article, that's why it's important, because they'll make it seem like this little thing is nothing, but you have to understand this is a serious thing. You're basically saying that you love the elites and the Most High hates them, and that you're for the system that he hates. So if you're with this system and he's going to destroy it, you're also going to be destroyed. Along with this system. Yeah, he said it's entirely safe, has regulatory approval, works immediately after being implanted, and will stay firmly in place. It also does not require a battery or other power source. The firm says it has now sold more than 500 of the subdermal objects. And the reason why, I remember watching this movie, Jurassic Park Fallen Kingdom, where they had these same subdermal objects in the dinosaurs. And the reason why it doesn't require batteries is because you are the battery. Because the chick said in the movie, how do you know that the objects in their body still work? She said because the dinosaurs are pretty much the battery that charge the thing within them. So that's how we know that the object inside their body still works, because the dinosaurs is pretty much the battery that keeps it going. And that's how you're gonna be. You're gonna be the object that keep that thing running. And like he said, it says the firm says it's now sold more than 500 of them. So what? 500 is that individuals, but like we said, they want to make it to where it's collectively the whole world. And that's the picture of it right there. It said the technology Walletmore uses is near field communication, or NFC, the contactless payment system in smartphones. So these are the things that's in your smartphones, or other payment implants are based on that word right there. I don't want to say it just in case, but you can continue reading, which is the similar technology typically found in physical contactless debit and credit cards. So you're walking around it already in your pockets, but you see, it's not enough for these elites. They want it inside of you, because if it's inside of you, they get to hear your thoughts, they get to control you, they get to make you do what they want, and you're a part of their system, and they own you forever. And if you go against them, they could just shut you out. Just like with the Most High, if an Israelite didn't go along with this, go along with the system, go along with the covenant, what the Most High would say, what you'd be cut off from Israel. So that's the same thing that Esau's trying to do. Oh, okay, you don't want to be a part of this? I'll cut you off then. No food, no nothing. And then what? You come back begging, say, no, it's fine, I'll listen. Having Israelites in perpetual slavery, really the whole world, but really it focuses with Israel. It says, for many of us, the idea of having such a implant in our body is an appalling one, but a 2021 survey of more than 4,000 people across the UK and European Union found that 51% would consider it. So that's again, that individuals, but what they want to make it collectively. That's why they're bringing out these numbers, these statistics, trying to manipulate the minds of the people that see these individuals is getting it. And when individuals see these other individuals getting it, and it's simple and easy, because people are like sheep, they're just followers. When people see that it's simple and easy, what? You're going to collectively get everybody now. You make it popular among certain individuals, and other individuals that saw it, and they saw, oh, nothing happened, it's fine, it's simple, it's easy, it makes everything all right. What? You get the other individuals, and that's how you work on the collective world. Continuing, however, without giving a percentage figure, the report added that the invasiveness and security issues remained a major concern for respondents. Mr. Paulman says that he doesn't have any of these worries. The subdermal implant contains the same kind of technology that people use on a daily basis, he says, from key fobs to unlocked doors, public transit cards like the London Oyster card. I don't know none of these things, but I'm going to guess these are methods that they use to take the bus or train, or bank cards, Slovakia, bank cards with contactless payment function. The reading distance is limited by the small antenna coil inside the implant. The implant needs to be within the electromagnetic field of the compatible, as you can see the word there, or NFC reader. Only when there is a magnetic coupling between the reader and the transponder can the implant be read. But I'm not going to read the whole article, but that's just mainly what I want to read. But I want to finish off in Revelation 13 and then get one more precept after this. And Lord's willing, has been an edifying video through the Spirit. So going back to show you as well that this deals with buying and selling, because we went through what? We went through all, we went through cause it, we went through cause it, we went through the word all, we went through the word the mark word that goes into charagma, charax, and grapho. Is it here or is it in the next verse? I think it's the next verse actually. Where was it again? Oh no, it's right. It's in Slack. It's in the seventh verse, 17th verse. And when you continue, and that Revelation 13 and 17, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the charagma, or the name of the beast, or the number of the name. So you're not going to be able in the future. They're going to poeo, fashion the world to being. This is going to be the way that you're going to be able to buy and sell. And you're seeing that right there with certain individuals, or this man, the article that got that. But like I said, they want collectively the whole world to get this. And when you go into that word buy, it's agorazo, which is the agora, which is what? To do business there, to buy or sell. So this is how you can be able to what? Get a job with this thing. You can't get a job in the future when they make this mandatory and make this the new way of life that what? Sir, you're going to have this subdermal object in your hand. Otherwise, we don't know if you're in the system. We need you to have this thing so we can have you in the system. So that way you can get a job, because that's pretty much when you want a job, you're pretty much like buying and selling, because what? You're pretty much selling yourself out there to the market to get a job, saying that these are my credentials, this is what I'm good at. You're pretty much you're putting yourself out there to be sold, waiting for someone to buy you, for a company to say, oh, okay, we like this guy's credentials, we'll take him and we'll pay him and things like that for his abilities. So this is how you're going to be able to buy and sell. This is how transactions are going to be made, through this way. So as you can see, this is not a white woman. This is not a thing or a figment of your imagination. This is actual physical thing that they want to put within your body through the act of cutting into your flesh by using a needle. That's going to have your information, your records, things that shall not be forgotten. So hopefully this was edifying. Hopefully this was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory as always unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak, Wadash, Shalom.